Welcome to Builder Nation. In this special Procurement Edition, we are diving deep into how hardware startups manage one of their most critical functions, procurement. Whether you're scaling up or just getting started, the procurement process can make or break your hardware development. It is about sourcing the right components, managing supply chains, and optimizing costs while staying agile. This episode will explore real-world insights from industry leaders on how they navigate procurement challenges and streamline operations to bring world-changing products to market faster. Keep watching to get a behind-the-scenes look at the procurement strategies and best practices. Today, we are joined by Kevin Leiter, COO at Burro. Welcome, Kevin. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Okay, so tell us something about yourself, about your work at Burro.
Sure. Yeah. So Burro, we are a autonomous vehicle company working in agriculture initially. So our main products are autonomous unmanned ground vehicles that carry, tow, and can do a variety of other jobs around agricultural settings today, but really can be applied in any off-road outdoor work environment. So today we typically will sell to large fruit and vegetable growers or large commercial nurseries. And in those two customer bases, we're either conveying picked fruit from a picking location in the field to a packing location. And also in nursery, we're towing up to 5,000 pounds worth of product around nurseries fully autonomously.
Yeah, so cool. And I know that you have like a lot of time in the industry, and now you are working at Burro since I think that 3 or 2 years.
Yeah, I've been here for 3 years as a COO. I joined Charlie Anderson and the rest of the founding team in 2021. Really, I joined right after we raised the Series A through venture capital. Since then, we've grown from about 14 employees to 55. Robots out in the world were something around 70 or 90. Now we're well north of 400 robots out globally, which is also another big change in the last couple of years. Prior to the last 2 years, we were only really selling product to customers within a 100-mile radius of Central California. And then since then, we've gone to Australia, New Zealand, all over South America, all over the US as well, Canada, a couple units in Japan and Korea as well. So a lot of growth in the last really 2 years, going from one geography, one customer base, to multi-geographies, multiple products, and really multiple use cases for our customers.
Wow, that's so cool. And with all this journey that you already had, can you give us a high-level view of the current procurement challenge in the hardware industry?
Yeah, I think I'll preface this by saying I have a unique perspective, or somewhat unique, given the company that I'm coming from and representing. We are a smaller manufacturer. We also utilize a contract manufacturing partner to actually do our final assembly of our products. We do own or maintain 80+% of our supply chain, but then we'll leverage some partners for that last 20%. So our couple challenges that we've, I would say, evolved through. I'll start with that, and then which ones we're currently dealing with. So as we were scaling, one of the biggest challenges was only manufacturing a couple months out of the year. It was really difficult. You had one shot a year to basically bet on how many units you think you would sell. Our longest lead items are typically 6-month lead times. Our sales cycle is significantly shorter than that. So our customers, when they agree to buy, they want it quickly.
Yeah.
6 months, right? And another dynamic in the agricultural industry is it's really only once or twice a year when people want their product delivered. So typically for us, it's right before harvest season or right before busy season. That means if we miss that date, we have to wait a whole another year to capture that demand. So a couple years ago, we were essentially around this time of year, maybe a little bit later in the year, we would have to pick a number that we're going to build, a number of robots, and then sell to that number and kind of hope that we're not leaving a whole lot on the table. That challenge was really around having a contract manufacturer that you spool up really quickly and utilize them for like 3 to 4 months out of the year, and then your demand drops to nothing, and your supply drops to nothing. So it really was tricky having the labor get trained on our product and then essentially leave as soon as they were trained up and reallocated to the other products that are partnered. So that was our biggest challenge, was really starting and stopping production, starting and stopping our supply chain, and effectively betting on a number without perfect information in terms of production volume. Is our desire to work with the largest, most reputable, highest quality suppliers, but we're not big enough to get a whole lot of attention from them. So that's another real critical challenge that we fight with every day, is how do we get the attention that we need from these credible suppliers at the time that we need it. And sometimes that just means like we have to sell our future, just like we're selling our product. A company like ours, we have to sell how big we'll be in 2 years from now, 3 years from now. So you're almost like selling yourself as a customer, which not my natural tendencies to do, but on occasion I can step into that role and do it.
Well, yeah, I can imagine that you have a lot of challenges in these last years. And what do you think is the most challenging decision that you had to take during this time at Burro?
Great question. I think the most challenging question I had was actually, or decision was one of the first decisions I had to make on the job here, was selecting our primary contract manufacturing partner. We had no time at the time. We had some money, but not enough money to be interesting, and not enough volume to really be interesting for a lot of the larger manufacturers out there. So kind of what I was just saying, I effectively had to go on the road selling our product as a viable and attractive product for a contract manufacturer to sell, or to build, sorry. And there aren't a whole lot of options for companies like ours on the hardware side. Like we have a complex robotic assembly, lots of really sensitive, complex electronics and sensors. Also, a lot of classic mechanical parts, right? And needing someone who could build a tractor to build our product. But that person who builds a tractor also needs to know how to assemble like a supercomputer. So finding the right partner with the right skill set was really a challenge. And for us, what that meant was we actually went with a electronics assembler and knew going in that we would have to work with them to develop their mechanical assembly skills and capabilities. For us, that was better than the opposite. I think if we went with a mechanical assembler and had to teach them electronics, it would have been a lot more difficult and probably a lot more costly in terms of scratch and fall through in process. So that was the hardest decision. And then there's other factors like, do you go international right away? Do you have to manufacture close to our offices, close to our engineers? Do we do it close to our customers? Do we have one partner who can manage 3 to 5 partners and split up our assemblies accordingly? And then lastly, I would say understanding the product maturity. So we are not a very mature product. We change stuff pretty frequently. Part of my job is to apply some process to that and make sure we don't mess anything up on the production side. But the reality is our product is new. It's ever evolving. Sometimes we have critical hardware changes that need to be rolled in immediately. Sometimes there's more time to do it, but you need to have that partner that's willing to work with you and understand where you're at in your product maturity. I mean, like our current partner is great to work with in terms of, we have a new product, we send a couple people to the factory, we build it alongside those people, the people on the ground, train them how to build it, and then transition it fully from there. So finding the right partner was the biggest challenge, and then knowing how long that our current partners will be able to support us and what's next really is that's what strategically keeps me up at night.
Yeah, Well, and with all this work that you do, all the communication that you have to have, or the to manage the procurement and supply chain, you use any specific tool, or maybe I don't know, like something like AI automation, something to help you with this to control the cost without slowing down the team.
Yeah, we certainly use like the classic procurement and call it manufacturing execution software. So we have, we use the software to manage our purchasing. Not a whole lot of like AI or automation built into that yet. I think there is a place for that. I think when we get, like I was saying, products, and we get a little bit more mature, we know like, hey, we're going to build this product, this part for the next 3 to 5 years. That's when you have that stability, in my mind, that's when you can really start leveraging some of these more automated or even AI procurement tools. For us today, it's still a bit artisanal. So you need to kind of, every purchase you're thinking, okay, are we going to change? Is there any risk of us changing this in the future? If so, when? How much we'll be able to buy today? So there is a little bit of a human element in all of our decisions today. Although we will use our the expected IT systems to execute those transactions.
Yeah, I totally agree with you about that. And to finish with this interview, what is your advice for a company that maybe is just starting out? What do you think are the most common procurement pitfalls to avoid?
Oh, wow, great question. I think starting off at a company that is trying to establish themselves as a hardware designer or manufacturer, you have to focus on quality. I think quality is going to determine what your reputation is in the market. It's also something that your supply chain and your production or ops in general has a lot of control over. So being almost like paranoid about potential quality issues and constantly trying to get ahead of them. That to me, that's the biggest advice I give to someone trying to effectively scale a product in the market. Especially a new product where there's not like an established incumbent here. There's no John Deere product that we're displacing, right? We're kind of creating a category here. The quickest way to kill that is by having a product that doesn't work great or isn't available to work when our customers need it. So because of that extra emphasis on managing quality from your supply chain, I think putting resources, and this isn't procurement, but putting resources into customer success and being on the ground with your customers is also critical. You'll get much higher quality feedback on your products by being there, talking to the users, and then that can ripple into your supply chain as well. And then the last thing I would say, don't be afraid of calculated risk. So you will, depending on your personality, you will always be a little bit nervous about making that big decision or doing that thing for the first time. My advice is it's never as scary as it seems when you're thinking about it, so don't be reckless. Definitely think through, pick a couple riskier opportunities, but pick the ones that have a really high upside and ones that you can mitigate the downside. And for us, expanding geographically, that's kind of what it came down to. Internally, we weren't so sure that we were ready from a product perspective or from a support perspective. But at the end of the day, our company was never meant to just sell to Central California. We're not funded in a way that would make sense. So it was inevitable that we would have to expand. I think it's a little bit nerve-wracking. You just got to go do it and then make it the right decision afterwards and learn a lot. Because the whole point of doing that is to do it once and then repeat it like 100 or 1,000 times after that. So be calculated in the risk, but don't be so afraid of taking risks that you don't end up doing any of them.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and thank you for all your valuable advices and this conversation. Was really, really cool to hear your ideas and learn from you. Do you have any social media or website that you want to share?
Yeah, definitely. I would encourage everyone to go to our company website, burro.ai. and we're on LinkedIn under the same name. So yeah, please follow us. Lots of great YouTube videos if you like to geek out about robots driving around farms carrying stuff. So please check it out. And also, we're always hiring. As I said, we're growing very rapidly, which means that we're always hiring new talent pretty much across the entire company. So if anyone is interested in joining what we're doing here, you can find our job postings on LinkedIn and on our website.
Yeah, I watched that videos and that are really cool how this Burro robot works. So thank you so much, Kevin, for being here and being part of this podcast. And for everybody that is watching, be sure to visit our website, buildernation.io. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn by following Builder Nation for the latest updates and exclusive content. Thank you all for being part of this amazing community. We will see you in the next episode. And thanks again, Kevin, for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.